I've been getting a lot of questions lately about whether to move forward and take the April LSAT or not, so I'm taking this opportunity to walk through the pros and cons of going forward with this specific LSAT test date. If you're watching this video, it may be because you recently took a practice test and the result wasn't what you were hoping for. Maybe it was an unusually low outlier of some kind and you're thinking, is April the test for me? Or should I push it back and take it in June, August, or beyond? Chances are, my recommendation for you would be to go ahead and take it in April for the simple reason that after the June LSAT, LSAC is removing the logic games section and replacing it with a second scored logical reasoning section. What this means is, if you were to take the LSAT in August instead, you are going to have thrown away all that hard work you devoted to studying the logic games. And so I would say, take it in April, see how it goes. If it turns out it doesn't go too well, you can then still retake it in June and still have the logic games on your exam. If you push it back now to take it in June, June will be your only remaining chance to take it with the logic games. And then after that in August, you're going to have the new format of the exam without the logic games section. And logic games, in my experience, is the most learnable and perfectible section of the exam. If April is not your last LSAT, of course, retaking it in June is totally fine. Law schools do not penalize you for taking the LSAT multiple times. They do not average multiple LSAT scores, but rather they only consider the highest score because that is all they have incentive to do, since the ABA only considers the highest LSAT scores of students matriculating to their law school. LSAC has also removed the retake limit, requiring you to take the LSAT only 3 times within one testing cycle. So you could take the LSAT in April and June, and then if neither of those works out for you and maybe logic games isn't your bag, you could then just take the LSAT in August without the games, and that'll be totally fine. The remaining retake limit is 5 times in 5 years, 7 times for life. If you get a 180, you can't take it again, and you can appeal any of those retake limits. Now, if a recent practice test score that was lower than you would like it to be is getting you down, don't worry. That may not be that indicative of your true potential. I always say to take the average of your most recent 5 practice tests, and that will be the best indication of where you currently stand. A single practice test result may not be that meaningful because maybe you didn't sleep well the night before, maybe you were distracted, maybe that test just didn't play to your strengths. Whatever it is, take another practice test, see where you are. If it goes up, great. If it stays around the same point, then of course, maybe you're not going to hit your fullest potential on April. And then of course, you want to push back to June, totally fine. If logic games are not your thing, then of course, maybe you just want to push it back and take it in August anyway. And then that test is a better format for you personally. And anyway, law schools will not care which version of the test you took. They don't care if you take it with the games or without the games. It's all the same to them. They only care about that single number out of 180 as the number one factor in the admissions process, more important than, say, your GPA, your application essays. And so it is, of course, worth devoting significant effort to your LSAT score, much more than to, say, your application essays. And if you need more time to study for the LSAT, of course, that's a different story altogether. If the remaining time between now and the April LSAT you feel is not enough to reach your fullest potential and games are just a section that you cannot crack, then of course, push it back to August and you can still apply at the very beginning of the cycle in the fall, and you'll have the entire summer to study. And if you are aiming to take the LSAT in August or June and you're looking to achieve a 170 or above, I'd be glad to help you out. I'm looking for a couple of students aiming to do just that, but I do have a couple of asks of you. I ask that you have scored a 160 or above on at least one timed practice test, and that you have a strong foundation in the basics of the LSAT, the different sections, and the different question types. If this describes you, wonderful. Click the link below to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. And if you haven't yet hit that benchmark, that's okay too. There are a variety of other ways I can support you, whether it's through our live online classes via Zoom, our on-demand video courses, small group coaching, one-on-one coaching. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.